Hello and welcome, and thank you so much for staying with CNN News 18. I'm Rehatul Siddiqui. Let's begin this broadcast with an important news story that we are tracking for a few hours now. This has been a big setback for the Gandhis, as the central government has cancelled Foreign Contribution Regulation Act license of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. The centre has cancelled this license over alleged violation of the foreign funding law, and this decision has been taken by an interministerial committee formed by the Ministry of Home Affairs, and the notice has been sent in this regard to the office. Meanwhile, the BJP has hit out at the Congress party, saying that corruption of Gandhi family has been exposed once again. Further, BJP alleged Congress took crores of rupees from China. Remember, Rajiv Gandhi Foundation is a non-governmental organization which is associated with the Gandhi family, and former Congress President Sonia Gandhi is the chairperson of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation.
राजीव गांधी फाउंडेशन आरजीएफ और राजीव गांधी चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट आरजीसीटी, ये जो दो एनजीओ थे गांधी परिवार के, जिसकी चेयरपर्सन खुद सोनिया गांधी जी स्वयं थी, इन दोनों के ऊपर प्रतिबंध लगाने का काम एमएचए ने किया है। करोड़ों रुपए चीन की सरकार से बतौर डोनेशन सोनिया गांधी ले रही हैं, और केवल चीन की सरकार से ही नहीं, ये डोनेशन एम्बेसी ऑफ चाइना से भी लिया गया था। ये अपने आप में बहुत घृणित विषय है। आज उस एनजीओ के ऊपर अंकुश लगाने का काम इस सरकार ने किया है।
It's done excellent work in social welfare, in welfare of people, in education, in awareness. I've seen some of its activities both at the center and elsewhere. And therefore, anything associated with the Gandhi's name or with the Congress was something that was threatening this very, this very myopic and very backward-looking ideology and philosophy of both the RSS and the BJP, because they cannot counter it in people's hearts. They've been doing this whole thing of creating various kinds of false cases, cutting away licenses and ensuring that organizations don't operate. It's really bad. It should be condemned. Everybody should get together and condemn this action of the Home Ministry. And I would urge the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation that if possible, please take this to court.
Joining me on the broadcast is Mr. Tushar Gupta, Senior Editor of the Swarajya Magazine. Tushar, thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. What do we make of this cancellation of the FCRA license for the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation?
See, the first thing is the name of the donors that is coming up. That is very, very important. One of the news reports says that in 2005-2006, the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation accepted money from the People's Republic of China Embassy in New Delhi. Now, that's a very serious allegation. Over the next 14 years, until 2020, the key point here would be who were the donors to this foundation, because the FCRA is very serious in terms of its process, in terms of its application. The first question the Congress will have to answer is, who were the donors? Number two, the China question. Look, a lot of economic investments in India, a lot of economic opportunities in India, a lot of economic policy decisions in India are impacted by the forces outside India. That has been the norm for a very, very long time. Now, in this context, the role of the donations to the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation become even more important. And number three, we are already having the National Herald case on. Now, to couple that with the FCRA problem as well, that is a big blow for the Congress party, and they'll have a hard time explaining this because all the reports have been made public. This is not fictitious data. This is not assumptions. The annual report of the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation from 2005-2006 says that they accepted money from China. And even if they did back then, those were different times, one could argue. Beyond 2014, beyond 2017, after Doklam, and beyond 2020, after the Galwan clash, has the foundation still been accepting money from China? These are some questions that will crop up, and not just China, other donors also who probably had some interest in India or some anti-national interest in India. These are the questions that will start coming up now.
Okay. Let me also bring in Mr. Kapil Madan, political analyst, who's also joining us on the broadcast. Kapil, this year is crucial that we're talking about. If we talk especially vis-a-vis actually getting funding from China between the year 2005 to 2009, how is that violative considering the times back then? If you can explain it to our viewers vis-a-vis the FCRA guidelines.
So I will just, begin by saying, as, Tushar also pointed out, and you also pointed out, that we are talking about contributions that were allegedly received in 2005. While investigation is the prerogative of the investigating authorities, and they are well within its power to investigate any any violation if there is any. But I would like to highlight here, we are in 2022, and my friend Tushar has also usefully referred to National Herald case. In the context of National Herald, your viewers should know that the allegations pertains to the year 2012. We are in 2022. No charge sheet has been filed. Investigation is not concluded. And after a span of 10 years, they call leaders from the Congress party to join investigation. While it is your prerogative to do the investigation, but if you are unable to complete the investigation within a span of 10 years, it shows only one thing. Rather, it shows two things. Either you are incapable of handling this kind of an investigation. Second, if that is not true, the second situation is that you only want to gain or the incumbent government only want to gain political mileage around it. Because had it been the case that there was any such money laundering thing that has happened in National Herald case, you would have not waited so long. You would have filed the charge sheet. There is no charge sheet that
Tushar, I'd want you to come in here. Since Kapil also mentioning about the National Herald case, we have seen the ED questioning that happened of the Gandhis, in this case Rahul Gandhi and both Sonia Gandhi. Considering this inter-ministerial committee that was set up in the year 2020, of course, is headed by the Enforcement Directorate, do you think it is in line with the same thing that is happening, because that political pressure on the Gandhis can be brought through the series of these investigations, or at least in the name of these investigations? That's one argument.
I wouldn't believe that it's political pressure. I think Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra is too successful, as many congressmen, including my good friend Kapil here, would argue, to be impacted by such cases. But this is investigation that needs a proper conclusion. See, at the end of the day, the China question is a very soft spot within the Indian policy circles. You look what happened right after Galwan. The Indian government froze investment approvals from all the countries that were sharing a land border with India. So when it comes to China, there are a lot of angles to it. It's just not about domestic politics. It's also about some external actors acting in cahoot with some Indian actors. So these are some very important points. Look, go back to the farmer protest. There was suddenly some very good riling up against Ambani and 5G, and there was also the Huawei question. So when you look at China in the Indian context, from an economic angle, there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered. So for me, the investigation, the main focus of the investigation should be who the donors were across all these years. Why were they donating only to the Congress? What was their stake in it? What was their interest in it? And if it's China that's coming up again and again, that is something that will get the Congress in real trouble. It's not about the political pressure. It's not about domestic politics. This is something more greater than that, rather.
Okay, we did have one of the members of the Congress party responding to the fact that how this foundation has been working for the betterment of the people, and this is something that can be taken to the apex court. Kapil, you wanted to respond to the point that Tushar is making.
Now, while Tushar wants to argue that, whatever is happening with China is serious, but Tushar wants to turn a blind eye on what Subramaniam Swamy is publicly saying. He is taking Modi government left, right and center, and he is making an allegation that it is the Modi government and, Mr. Doval and Mr. Rajnath Singh who are trying to mislead the people of the country, because it is Mr. Swamy's allegation that the Chinese have